The fifth, the beaver's lesson. They sought it with thimbles. They sought it with care. They pursued it with forks and hope. They threatened its life with a railway share and charmed it with smiles and soap. But the beaver, but the butcher contrived an ingenious plan for making a separate sally, and fixed on a spot unfrequented by man, a dismal and desolate valley. But the very same plan to the beaver occurred. It had chosen the very same place, and neither betrayed by a sign or word the disgust that appeared on his face. Each thought he was thinking of nothing but Snark and the glorious work of the day, and each tried to pretend that he did not remark that the other was going that way. But the valley grew narrow and narrower still, and the evening got darker and colder, till, merely from nervousness, not from goodwill, they marched along shoulder to shoulder. Then a scream, shrill and high, rent the shuddering sky, and they knew that some danger was near. The beaver turned pale to the tip of his tail, and even the butcher felt queer. "'Tis the voice of the Jubjub," he suddenly cried, "this man that they used to call Dunce. As the bellman will tell you," he added with pride, "I've uttered that sentiment once. Just the place for a Jubjub. Keep count, I entreat. You will find I've told it you twice. 'Tis the song of the Jubjub. The proof is complete, if only I've stated it thrice." The beavers lost heart and out grave in despair when the third repetition occurred. They felt that in spite of all possible pains, it had somehow contrived to lose count, and the only thing now was to rack its poor brains by reckoning up the amount. 2 added to 1, if it could but be done, it said on its fingers and thumbs, recalling with tears that in earlier years it had taken no pains with its sums. "Taking 3 is, the thing can be done," said the butcher, "I think. The thing shall be done, must be done, I'm sure. The thing shall be done. Bring me paper and ink, the best there is time to procure." The beaver brought paper, portfolio, pens, and ink and unfailing supplies, while strange creepy creatures came out of their dens and watched them with wondering eyes. So engrossed to the butcher, he heeded them not, as he wrote with a pen in each hand, explaining this the while in a popular style which the beaver could well understand. Taking 3 as the subject to reason about, a convenient number to state, we had 7, and then 10, and we had 7 and 10, then multiply out by 1,000 diminished by 8. The result we proceed to divide as a C by 990 and 2, subtract 17, and the answer must be exactly and perfectly true. The method employed I would gladly explain while I have it so clear in my head, if I had the time, and you had the brain, but so much yet remains to be said. In 10 minutes, or in 1 moment, I've seen what has hitherto been enveloped in absolute mystery, and without extra charge I will give you at large a lesson in natural history. As to Chumper, the Jubjub's a desperate bird, since it lives in perpetual passion. Its taste and costume is entirely absurd, and its age is ahead of the fashion. But it knows any friend it has met once before, and never will look at a bribe. And in charity meetings it stands at the door and collects, though it does not subscribe. Its flavor when cooked is more exquisite far than mutton or oysters or eggs. Some think it keeps best in a mahogany jar, and some in mahogany kegs. You boil it in sawdust, you salt it in glue, still preserve its symmetrical shape. The butcher would gladly have talked till next day, but it felt that the lesson must end, and it wept with delight in attempting to say it. He considered the beaver his friend. For the beaver expressed in more eloquent looks, more eloquent even than tears, it had learned in 10 minutes far more than all books would have taught it in 70 years. They returned hand in hand, and the bellman unmanned for a moment with noble emotion, said, "This amply repays all the wearisome days we have spent on the billowy ocean." Such friends as the butcher and beaver became have seldom, if ever, been known. In winter or summer, 'twas always the same. You could never meet either alone. And when quarrels arose, as one frequently finds, quarrels will, in spite of any endeavor, the song of the Jub-Jubs recalled to their minds and cemented their friendship forever. That's the end of the book.